Hello everyone. This is a very exciting time here in our household. We finally got to install something that I've been looking forward to for what seems like forever, and that is a cell booster, which is going to enable us to get pretty decent internet connectivity on the road as long as there's some kind of a signal. So let me show you what we did to get this thing installed and working for us. Okay, so we did the majority of the install last night in the dark, so I did not film that. But I will show you some of the things that I'm going to do today to finish everything up. So first things first, the cell booster that we got is a WeBoost Drive 4GX. This is a highly recommended device, both from Technomadia and a variety of other full-time RVers. Including The More We Explore, which Steve from The More We Explore, super cool guy, he came out and helped me install this last night, so we will link to his channel in the description below. Lots of help. Steve, if you're watching this, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Great guy. Check out his channel if you haven't already. The WeBoost for the 4GX comes with this little short okay-ish omnidirectional antenna, so you could just put this up anywhere and it doesn't matter where the cell tower is. It'll try to get it, get some kind of signal and boost it as much as it can. We actually got an idea from The More We Explore for a directional antenna, which we've mounted up on the roof. I will show you that later, and I will also link to that antenna in the description below. So we're essentially not using this. We're using a directional antenna, which we mounted to the TV apparatus that we can rotate. So it's super easy. It also comes with that little piece there, which is, I think they call it like a candy bar. And what that does is it's the indoor antenna, so that's what broadcasts the signal that it's getting from the external directional antenna into the Airstream. We have pretty good cell service here already, so our testing isn't all that great, to be perfectly honest with you. We've heard that you really have to get up close to the indoor antenna, or you don't get as much of a signal boost, but we're going to test that as we go. But so far, the upload speeds, especially the upload speeds, have been remarkably better after we installed this. And for YouTube videos, uploading is going to be a primary concern for us, so we're really happy already. So let me talk a little bit about how all this was installed. Steve and I got up on the roof last night to take a look at a couple of our options. One of our options was just running the cable down through the TV apparatus, but that was a little bit too difficult, and we had to worry about a 12-volt source if we kept everything towards the front of the Airstream. The easier solution was just to come down the refrigerator vent from the top of the Airstream. So we just took some yarn, tied a little bolt to the end of it so it had some weight, threw it down. We first drilled a hole, and I'll show you that. We threw the bolt down, came down behind the refrigerator in the little access panel, got access to it there, fed the long cable that came with the directional antenna up through it, so it went up to the roof and over to our TV apparatus. The other end of that cable comes down behind the refrigerator, right above our wheel access area here. And this is kind of a messy area. We have a lot of cords, but this is where we're going to keep the WeBoost itself, just the device. And we're going to run the internal antenna right to that place there. So everything is very easily accessible in this area. And the WeBoost comes with a long enough 12-volt cable that we can just run it from there all the way over to this cabinet over here, and we have a 12-volt plug, which is just underneath there, which is about in this area. So we just run it from there to there. It has power. We could also switch it on and off, which is really useful because sometimes we simply won't need it, and if we're boondocking, we don't want to use the power. Like, for example, right now, if we had this kind of signal out boondocking, we probably would not use this thing. But yeah, that gives us pretty good flexibility for everything. So let me bring you up on the roof and I'll show you kind of how everything is configured there. And I'll also go through a couple of last minute steps to secure the wiring and make sure everything is in place and won't go anywhere. Alright, here we are on top of the Airstream. It's a little breezy, so I hope you can hear me okay. Here is our directional antenna. Again, we will link to this exact model in the description. So we're using the TV antenna pole that came pre-installed with the Airstream. We physically removed the TV antenna itself. It had two poles about the same length for extra support because the TV antenna was about that long. This sucker is about this long, so we didn't need the extra pole. It just got in the way, so we took that completely off. And this will, when we lower the antenna, it will face this way. We don't have clearance problems with the awning. Some Airstreams you do, some you don't. It just depends on your configuration. Luckily, we don't. If you look down here, this apparatus was installed, I guess, from the guy before. We don't see these on many Airstreams. So usually what you'll do is you'll install a rubber grommet here. So this guy does not sit directly on the top of the Airstream. There's a little bit of a buffer, but we have this guy here, so that takes care of it for us for the most part. So we're just going to leave him here. He just folds down nice and easy, points that way when we're traveling. Then we just lift him up and rotate him so this guy points in the direction of the cell tower. Works pretty good. If you can get in here a little bit closer, you can see that this is the coaxial cable from the TV. We left it here in case we want to put up another TV antenna somewhere up here. We can just tap into this, goes directly inside the Airstream. The white cable comes down, feeds into this black cable. This black cable is what came with this. It's something like 15-20 feet, so it's really long, gives us enough room to play with. And we're stringing this along the top of the Airstream, and this is what I have to finish. As you can see, I only have it tied down to about this point here. And really cool way to secure this. Little 3M reversible two-sided tape on these guys. This happens to be the exact same way that AM Solar installed our solar panels. We have a video about that. We didn't specifically point these out, but these are the same things that they use. Secure these to the top of the Airstream, run the zip tie through, tie them up with the cable through it, and it secures them really nicely on top of the Airstream. So I'm going to get to that, and I will show you what we did with the vent here in just a minute. So let me get another one of these down.
Can you just use a normal scissor to cut those?
Mm-hmm. So over here on our refrigerator vent, what we did is we just drilled a hole, and I'll show this, directly into the side of the vent here, fed the cable through, brought it down. Actually, we did that in reverse. We actually threw a bolt down, like I talked about earlier, pulled this cable up through the hole, so we have it up here on the top of the Airstream. We have a rubber grommet that sits inside the hole, so this black cable does not rub against the metal hole that we drilled, so it won't fray the sheathing on this cable. So the only thing that I have left to do here is just die-core or put some sealant around the rubber grommet so it doesn't go anywhere, as well as the inside of the grommet so the cable is nice and steady and secure, and that doesn't move back and forth. So other than that, I mean, this job was a lot easier than it could have been. Again, thanks to Steve's help from the Morbury Explorer. And I think we'll be cooking with gas, or I guess I should say with pretty darn good cell signal out there in the middle of nowhere. And oh, by the way, back here in our refrigerator access panel, as nice as Airstreams are built, it's hard for me to believe that they didn't cut some corners with this. Granted, it's like a 12-year-old Airstream, but I mean, if you take a look at this, these wires are so frayed, and we have some electrical tape over them now, so you can't even see the worst of it. But it was rubbing against this aluminum or sheet metal or whatever it is, and when you shake the wires, the lights inside were actually flickering. So it's been rubbing against this sheet metal because the circle or the hole that they drilled, it wasn't even a circle. was so tight that over time those cables were just rubbing against it. So what we had to do last night is cut this hole bigger so we can feed the antenna cable that's coming down through the vent, through here, and then down into this hole here. And this hole comes out into the Airstream underneath the dinette seat like we showed you earlier, and then we feed it where it needs to go. So what I need to do here is just clean this up a little bit, re-dicore some of this, put some sealant around the new larger hole, so the cords no longer rub against the metal, and we have less of a chance of having light problems in the future. So yeah, that's about it from here. So the areas of the cords that were having some problems, the area where it was actually rubbing against the metal, that sheathing was coming off. So last night we wrapped it a few times with electrical tape, tied them up as securely as we possibly could. So with the dicore that we're putting in now, that should hold those in place. And I mean, I'm no electrician, but I think that should take care of our electrical problems. Or I guess future electrical problems, because we weren't actually having a problem yet unless we actually moved the wires back there. So I think that should give us some more time here before we have to investigate a more involved solution.